And mental health is something that we don't talk about enough. In the black community, well, we're massively overrepresented in the mental health institutions, even more so than in the prisons. And again, these are questions we have to ask. Well, why?
But once you get a control and an understanding of who you are, no one can use you against you. No one can ever use your mental illness against you. You've already spoke about it, so what you got?
The biggest point in life to resolve mental health is like giving a fuck about a person.
Where did you get the courage? I got the courage. The 2 words. I care.
It's Chill Will Radio, where connections will be made, advice will be given, jokes will be told, and things will get real. My name is Willis Cooks, and I'm your host. But understand this show is not meant to be used as a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health professional. Enjoy the show, y'all. Yo. What's the deal? What's poppin'? Dieter, it is cold up in here, but it's okay, man. Dieter got the air on and I'm cold, but hey, it is what it is. Welcome to another episode of Chill Will Radio, man. I hope everyone is doing good and swelling all that fabulous stuff, man. Hope everyone's Sunday is ending off well and everybody's ready for this week. Everybody's ready for this good old Monday, man, and ready to get things popping. You know, it's the start of the week, man. Everyone's gonna go back to their jizz and get things working, man. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Monday the 17th. Oh, those who are listening, those who are in LA, please go out and check out my boy Keith and them down at the podcast pit at Down and Out Bar. I think it's 6:30, 7:30 on Monday. Down and Out Bar. I know it's tomorrow. I just can't remember the time specifically. Check my Instagram page or the Good News website, man. Shouts out to that and all those individuals who are listening who do have podcasts, man. Check in, man. How am I doing? What's going on with me? How are things going by so far, man? I'm doing well. I'm doing good. This week will by really well. This week was I think last week I spoke about how I was starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. This week felt a little bit more relaxing, right? Even though my schedule is kind of relatively the same, but it felt a little bit more relaxing because I'm starting to let some things go, get rid of some things, and starting to come to a form of honesty, right? A lot of the times we will lie to ourselves. We will lie to ourselves. We'll lie to ourselves all the time without questioning the lie, because it is something that we are doing to keep ourselves comfortable. And if this lie is keeping myself comfortable, keeping myself in a comfortable, peaceful place, then we're not going to question it, right? Or if there's some form of insecurity, there, we're going to tell a lie to kind of cover up that insecurity, right? I'm not saying I was insecure, but I'm going to say I was uncomfortable with certain things that was going on in my life. So I had to let a few things go, right? And I felt good about that. I felt good because the pressure of doing certain things isn't weighed on me as much, right? The pressure of going there, the pressure of doing this, the pressure of maintaining the things that I have told people that I was going to do. At this point, I'm kind of like, fuck it, right? Because what happens a lot of times is we spread ourselves too thin and we're not able to focus on one thing at a time. It's important that we get to a place to where we are able to focus on one thing at a time, to where we can fully, dive into a lot of the things that we're supposed to be doing, right? I think it's better to have a team of 5 working to increase one specific thing versus a team of 5 to increase 5 different things, right? Because you're going to have that team to focus on one specific topic or one specific journey, right? If I had a team of 5 people focusing on this particular radio show or this podcast, it'd be way better than it's just me, and then I got my man Didier focusing on, events, and then my girl focusing on, a clothing line that's all geared towards, the Chill Will Radio. It's like, we'll get to that point when we get to that point. But being able to focus and dive all into one thing, one step at a time, is extremely grateful, right? And being able to not really focus on the things that, the things that happened in the past, because stuff that happened yesterday are the things that happened yesterday, but it's about being able to get to a place where you can fully dive into everything that you can at that specific moment, being able to block everything out and fully focus on that thing that you're working on, whether it be your job, whether it be the relationship with your girl, whether it be fucking here speaking on this mic, right? Fully being in tune, fully being mindful, fully being present, and not forgetting. Well, yes, forgetting, but not worrying about the things that happened yesterday. Because a lot of the times because we tell people certain things, we feel as if we have to do it because we put it out there. Or because we've been telling ourselves this one particular thing or this one particular lie, for months or years on end. Now we feel as if we have to do it. When in reality, you can change things up whenever you want to. You can change things up whenever you want to. But the thing is, when you change things up, understand that change is going to come with some form of risk. Change is going to come with some form of sacrifice. And then change is going to come with some form of failure, right? But at the end of the day, it's going to cause you to be a better person, right? It's going to cause you to grow. It's going to cause you to expand in certain areas that you may need to expand into, right? But we have to be real with ourselves. We have to be honest with ourselves. And I say this a lot. When you lie to someone else, you're lying to yourself first. When you're lying to someone else, you're lying to yourself first. We have to get in a habit of not lying to ourselves first. You ever meet someone who just tells a lie for the sake of telling a lie and don't even have no reason for telling that lie, but he just tells it for no apparent reason, right? We come across people who are habitual liars and who just lie about a lot of things. That's the same with us. Sometimes we just lie to ourselves about how far we can go. We lie to ourselves about how great we are. We lie to ourselves about what we are capable of doing. We lie to ourselves about a lot of things without even giving ourselves a chance to do it, or we haven't even done it, period, but we just assume that we can't do it because of the previous experiences that we've had in, let's say, a familiar field, right? We just go based upon something, right? Or we're coming up with 1,000 excuses to not do something, right? I know I'm supposed to be doing this, and then when it's time for me to do this one little thing, I kind of start getting sidetracked and focusing on something else, right? Because I'm running away from the thing I know I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm trying to figure a way out. So we come up with all of these little itty bitty micro things to kind of wiggle our way out of certain situations, when in reality, we just need to be honest and ask ourselves, do we really want to do it? And if that thing that you want to do is something that's pressing on your mind every single day, you wake up thinking about it, you go to sleep thinking about it, you're at work thinking about it, obviously it's something that you need to do. Obviously it's something that's on your brain all the time. Make an effort to go towards it and figure out if you may like it or not. Figure out if it's worth it. Figure out if it's actually for you, because it may not be for you, right? Maybe some of the things that you need to do in order to get stuff out of your mind is just to do that one thing. Let's say if you want to be a speaker and all you think about is speaking, but then you go start speaking and then you realize I don't really fuck with this. Okay, cool. Now the thing ain't gonna be on your mind no more. Now you're not gonna feel guilty about not doing it because you actually tried to do it, right? So sometimes we just have to put ourselves in positions to where we can fully figure out what it is we want to do. And the only thing we're going to be able, in order to get that done, is just to go out there and just experience shit. But we're not going to be able to experience things if we continue to lie to ourselves about why we shouldn't do something or why we need to put something on the back burner. Whatever it is, figure out what you could do in order to kind of let things go. Because we all can't take on everything. And we have to be honest to where and say that I need some help. That's one of the hardest things for me, is to be able to say yo, I need some help. I am the king at doing everything by myself. Everything. I would sit there and purposely take the time out to learn something just so I could do it by myself, so I don't have to get help from you. Because I don't like relying on people, and who does? But you have to come to a realization that, you ain't it all, buddy. You ain't it all. So, moving on forward to the self-care piece of the week, right? I spoke about this way early on, way early on, when I was speaking about, detoxing your life, right? Detoxing your environment, get rid of things. But I don't think I've ever really spoke about detoxing your actual body, right? This self-care is something you can do every morning. Figure out your little regimen, but I would highly recommend you do it probably on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, whenever it is. If you had a night out and you drank too much and you ate like shit and you just feel bad that morning, whatever it is, right? It's important that we all detox our body. It's important that we all kind of get shit out, right? The one thing that caused me to speak about this particular today is because, like I said, I've been overwhelmed for the past 2-3 months, and I don't even want to say my diet, but my eating habits have been to shit, right? Obviously, I'm a vegan, but you can be a very unhealthy vegan if you just walking around eating honey buns all day. Even though I don't think honey buns are vegan, but if you just walking around eating honey buns and fries and shit all day and eating cookies that your girls get, you eat stuff like that, even though that stuff ain't even fully vegan, you got some people who are sticklers about what vegan stuff is or whatever, but my shit was bad. And the one thing I'm very mindful of is I've always been mindful of what I put in my body, but I am extremely mindful of what the hell goes out and how often things goes out, right? Typically, I will have a bowel movement between 2 to 3 times a day. I've been noticing that, Willis, you having a bowel movement once every other day. That's bad. That's real bad because, and a lot of us, and I was reading some statistics on it, typically Americans, right, we have bowel movements once every other day or once a day, if that. When we're supposed to be having a bowel movements regularly 2 times, 3 times a day, whatever we put in our body is supposed to go out, right? The one self-care I want everybody to pay attention to, right, is to detox your body and be extremely mindful of what goes in and what goes out. Because a lot of the times we get in a place to where, I need to just clear up everything. I need to clear up my environment. I need to clear up my friends. I need to clear up my Instagram feed to make sure it doesn't look like a mini porno. I need to clear up these contacts. I'm not finna hit you up anymore because you bring all of this negative energy into my life. I need to clear all of this stuff. But you still eat like trash. It's not going to work, right? It may work temporarily. It may be something there, but the food that you're putting in is going to cause your stress level and your hormone levels to go out of whack, right? Your brain and your mind is going to be cloudy, right? You're going to feel like shit. You're going to get sick. Your stomach is going to be fucked up. And if your stomach is fucked up and if something is wrong with you, you're going to be more irritable. And if you're more irritable, you're going to be popping off on people all the time. You're going to be more stressed. You're not going to be at peace. Everything is just not going to be bad. Everything is not going to be good because you're not feeding yourself properly. You're not giving yourself the proper nutrients. And everybody's not perfect, right? Like I say, I believe I am a very unhealthy vegan. I believe I am a domestic vegan. I only eat meat when I am outside of the country because I do not trust the meat here. It gets me sick, but when I am in other countries, I do not get sick. I am not one of them people that's a super stickler on vegan food. I will eat greens that was made with fucking, meat in it. I just won't eat the meat. That's the type of vegan I am. So nobody's perfect. But the thing is, when it comes to what you put in your body, be mindful of that. Take care of yourself, right? Obviously work out, drink water, make sure your friends and everybody around you that, is bringing positivity to your life. But a lot of that stuff isn't going to mean much. A lot of that stuff isn't going to mean much if you're eating like crap. Because I work in a hospital. I work in a few hospitals. And the one thing I see all the time is people coming there looking like trash. You got people with these kidney stones. You got people with diabetes, young ass folks with diabetes, and now they got to get their toes and their ankles and their legs amputated because they're not taking care of themselves. You got people who are 22 and 23 years old weighing about 300, 400, 500 pounds, right? Because they're not taking care of themselves, right? You don't want to be the person that dies early because you weren't eating properly, right? You want to be like this one patient that I came across today who was 96 years old but talking about she finna take a trip by herself to go to Michigan in a few weeks. But she's 96 years old, still walking and moving and doing things. You want to get to a place to where you're eating to fuel your body. You're eating to take care of your body instead of eating just to figure out how shit tastes, just because it tastes good. Obviously, right? You want to eat what you actually like, right? Like I said, I'm not a stickler when it comes to a lot of things. I'm a vegan, but I'm not the perfect one. Make sure what you eat is good. Make sure it's good. Make sure you're not eating stuff and it's not a chore. You don't feel bad to eat stuff. Like, I'm not the person that's over here trying to make it seem like, oh, I eat and eating is a bad thing and I only have to eat this whack ass salad and this salad has no flavor to it and blah blah blah. It's like, nah, make your food the way you want to make your food. However, there's always has to be a balance to it. Get the proper nutrients in, right? Make sure you get your little juices in. Make sure you get your vegetables and your fruits in, right? Make sure you get all of your fiber in, right? Make sure you notice the difference in the changes in your body. Are you getting headaches a little bit more? Is your tongue and everything starting to taste nasty? Are you not pissing as much? Are you not having bowel movements as often? Are things starting to change? Ask yourself these questions and don't lie to yourself about it. And then understand that if you're trying to switch up your diet, you're not going to automatically just be able to switch it up like real quick. It's going to take time. You're going to have to work your way into it. We can change the way we can change if we like something or dislike or not like something. For example, as a kid, I used to like soda. I used to drink soda all the time. I stopped drinking soda. I haven't had soda in years. Now I fucking hate that shit. Right? Because my taste buds are not used to it anymore. Now they're just like, what the fuck is this? Only time I drink soda is when I drink alcohol. That's it. Outside of that, I am not drinking any soda because the shit is nasty. Right? I can't have tons of juice all the time, especially juice that's not like organic, because it just too sweet. It's too sugary. I can have some of it, a little bit, but too much is gonna be like, because I'm not used to it. Same with you. If you just gradually get yourself off of it, your tongue is going to adapt to it. Your taste buds are going to adapt to it. Your body and everything is going to adapt to it. Then it's going to begin to not crave the thing that you think you once craved. Right? A lot of us say, oh, I got a headache, I'm hungry, I got hunger pains. Like, nah, you're just having insulin withdrawals because you've had all the sugar in your body, and now your body is just like, I need sugar. Your insulin is like, I need this, I need that. Now you're just having withdrawals. When in reality, you just need to cut the shit out, and then you just need to get back to normal. Like, that's how diabetes is. You eat too much sugar, your insulin shoots up, and it's up for entirely too long. Boom, now you're insulin dependent. Now you have diabetes. Figure it out. Fix yourself. Fix your diet. Detox yourself. Clean out your system. Once you clean out your system, a lot of things in life are going to begin to clear up. Your mind is going to begin to clear up. Your attitude is going to begin to clear up. You're going to feel a whole lot better. And because you're feeling a whole lot better, you're not going to be willing to pop off on all these people like you want to, because you just feel better, right? So yes, take care of and clean out your environment. Clean out your phone, clean out your friends, clean out the work, all that stuff. But clean out internally. Take care of yourself internally. That's a step that a lot of us are missing, and that's a step that is difficult because we got all this stuff in the way. Hell, I got this Mexican sucker in front of me right now that I guarantee is not the healthiest, and I'm going to eat this shit after the show. But it's all about the balance. Like, if you're gonna take something bad in, that's cool, but just make sure you put something else in and counteract it. That's all it is. All it is to it. So the one self-care piece I want everyone to implement within their self-care regimen. Make sure to either weekly or daily or monthly or twice a month, whatever it is. Just make sure you detox your body. Make sure you detox your body. Make sure you become aware of what you're putting in, and damn sure make sure you're aware of what's coming out and how often it's coming out. All right, so moving on forward into the main topic. And as I stated earlier, I guess on my Instagram story, that I already had the topic for this show kind of planned out, but I switched it up because of a conversation I had earlier. This coworker speaking to me about, Willis, why isn't there things for like social workers? Why aren't there things for therapists, for just helping professionals in general? Because we get numb to a lot of things, we get jaded to a lot of stuff. We become immune to death, right? We take on the stress of others. We take on all of this negative energy from other folks that we have to work with. And a lot of the times people don't check up on us. So we have to figure things out on our own. So I ain't gonna say I don't know of too many resources for therapists outside of learning how to be better at your craft, right? But what are certain things that are specifically geared towards therapists? And one of the things I want to make sure I speak about today are things that us as therapists shouldn't be ashamed about, things that us as therapists shouldn't be afraid of doing, things that us as therapists need to make sure we do all the time, right? One of the first things you all need to make sure that you do is that us as therapists or us as social workers or anybody who's working in any type of helping professional, don't be afraid to take your break. Please don't be afraid to take your break, because what happens is we have these caseloads that causes us to work overtime, that causes us to not take lunch breaks, that causes us to not take our 10 to 15 minutes, little break between our lunch breaks, that causes us to not want to do anything that we're supposed to do, right? To just, I just need to get this shit done now. I just need to get the work done now. But we're not taking any break to kind of reset our body, to kind of reset our system, to kind of reset our mind. And a lot of the times what happens is we work in many environments to where our environment or our supervisors, they say like, yeah, go ahead, take your lunch break and I want you to take care of yourself and all of this other stuff. But the environment and the workload isn't conducive to that, right? How can I go ahead and take this quick little 10, 15-minute break that by law I'm supposed to have, but I got this pile of work I have to do? How am I supposed to be okay on my lunch break and be cool with taking my lunch break when I have this pile of work I have to do, right? And a lot of us, what sometimes is we work within our breaks, right? We'll take our break, we may clock out, and then get back to work, set a timer on our phone for about 30 minutes to an hour, however long your break is supposed to be. Do your work, and once your timer go off, you're going to go back and clock in and get right back into work. Take your break. Don't be afraid to take your break, especially when you need it. It's important that we always reset our system, right? Earlier I was speaking about detoxifying your body. You have to reset your system internally, but you also have to reset your mind externally. So the only way you're going to be able to do that is to take a break. It's to be able to back off. It's to be able to get yourself to a position where you need to forget about it. And if you don't do that, it's going to be bad. Another thing we need to make sure we do, and I kind of struggle with this in the beginning as therapists, is that we need to be okay, and we need to be okay with letting a client go. We need to be okay with letting a client go, right? Say, for example, if that client is too much for us, right? Or if that client triggers us, or if that client is too much for us, or if that client triggers us, we need to be okay with letting that client go. I was a social worker that's like, yo, I got it. Give me all the difficult ones and everything else and blah, blah, I got this. But I began to see that, like, yo, everybody's throwing the difficult clients at me. When your supervisor at work or at the practice is throwing all of these difficult clients at you, you need to go ahead and tell that person, like, nah, stop. I'm going to let this client go. I'm going to let that client go because my workload, my caseload, my caseload is just too acute. It's too bad. It's too high, right? I got all of the bad patients. If you have all of the bad patients or all of the bad clients, you're always going to, have a lot of work to do. You're always going to be stressed out. It's always going to be bad, right? Now, there are some people, there's a lot of people who could take care of it, right? Had a bad caseload. Me, I'm not doing that. Same with you. Understand that it's okay if you decide to let a client go, but it's also okay to tell your supervisor that I can't deal with this client. This client is too much for me. Or I need a client that's a little bit easier, that's not as acute. Their problems and their complaint as to why they're coming here isn't not as bad. I need someone that's just, I don't need 10 terrible patients. Let me balance it out. So understand that it's okay to let a client go if you actually have to. Another thing is you have to make sure you stick with what you know. Obviously, it's a legal thing, right? Practice within. Obviously, right? We need to make sure we practice within the things that we know, we need to make sure we're practicing within our scope of knowledge, right? If we're not practicing within that, we're gonna mess the client up. We're gonna make the client worse, right? That's like me. I am very ignorant when it comes to LGBTQ things, right? I understand I am ignorant to that stuff, and I am okay with that. Am I learning? Yes. Am I taking seminars and classes and things and going to certain presentations? Yes. I am trying, but it is difficult. However, know where you're at. Don't be that therapist that be like, yo, I got the client that's struggling with his sexuality and, with his gender. Meanwhile, you ain't never worked with nobody in that field. Meanwhile, you know nothing. You don't know what LGBTQ stands for. You don't know what the A stands for. You don't know what the 2+ I stands for. You don't know what none of that stuff stands for, but you want to go ahead and work with that individual. You're not going to do nothing to make that person's situation worse. And you're very disrespectful to that person, right? Stick with what you know, right? That's not to say like, oh, you can't venture off and do something that you're interested in. Like, nah, do the things that you're interested in, but make sure you do them under some form of supervisor, so make sure everything goes well. But stick with what you know, and stick with what you're comfortable with. Stick with what you are comfortable with, right? For me, I'm not too comfortable working with rapists. I'm not too comfortable working with people who are child molesters. Some therapists are. Me, I'm going to be like, fuck you, I'm not working with you. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you that, but I'm just going to be like, supervisor, I can't do it, right? I can't do it. The same with you are, right? Make sure you are sticking with what you know. Make sure you are taking on the clients that you know and that you feel comfortable with working with. Don't take on anybody that you're unsure about. Don't. Say no, and it's okay. Don't allow your supervisor to cause you to feel guilty for not taking on this individual, to cause you to make you feel as if your quality as a therapist is questioned because you can't work with this difficult client. It's like, no, every therapist can't work with every client. You have to be extremely mindful of that. If you're not, things are going to get bad very, very, very quickly, right? Another thing you as therapists, we need to make sure you do, get you a therapist friend. We always say a therapist needs to see a therapist because we, take on a lot of shit. Get you a therapist friend, right? These therapist conversations that we be having, man, it be funny, right? It's like a rapper's gonna have him a rapper friend, right? A baller's gonna have someone else who is in the NBA playing with him, right? Didier's probably gonna have another camera guy, right? Have like-minded people within your circle so that way you can have conversations, fulfilling conversations. Because I can have a conversation with my girl about therapy, but it's still gonna be like, because it's like we're not gonna be able to fully bounce off things the way it would be if I was to speak to another therapist. My girlfriend's an RN. She can come to me and talk to me about these meds and all of this other stuff and everything else, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, because I don't get this stuff. I'm gonna hold the conversation, but it's not gonna be something. Find and get you a therapist friend, right? Get you a therapist friend. Build you a network, not just to only work with, but to talk shit with, right? To talk shit with, because we need a release. We need a release, and sometimes that's what your supervision is for, right? Sometimes that's what your supervision is for when you're getting your license. Use that as time to release, time to get things off of your chest, time to get things off your system, because there are certain things that you want to say, but you do not feel comfortable saying it. So you need to be able to say it within a safe place. Do that, right? But once you get your therapist friend, also make sure that you do something outside of your field. Make sure you do something outside of work. Make sure you do something different. Me, the thing I do differently is I go skydiving. That shit is extremely therapeutic for me. And I don't know too many people I don't have too many friends that does it. So for me, it's like, yo, this is mine. Do something different that you can call your own, so that way you're not ashamed of one. So that way you don't burn out as quickly, but also it gives you a break, because you don't want to be in therapist mode all day, every day. You don't want to be a therapist at home. You don't want to be a therapist off the clock. While you're on the clock, there you go. Do what you got to do. But the second you clock out, check out all the way, mentally, physically, all of that stuff. Obviously, sometimes we live in certain predicaments to where, we work in certain predicaments to where our client is going to call us because they're in a crisis and stuff like that. And when it comes to that, it's important that you set up those boundaries. It's important that you put things in place to where your client understands that you need your space as well. But make sure you do something different. Make sure you do something to get yourself out of the way, right? Get yourself away from the job. Go do whatever. If you knit, if you go to the gym and you box, if you, whatever it is, if you have a whole separate job, I don't know, if you work the drive-thru at McDonald's, do that shit. Because it is therapeutic for you. Doing something different to get you out of your typical lifestyle is definitely going to help you. One thing that we all need to make sure that you do within this field is just to never stop learning. Never stop learning about yourself, right? Never stop learning about yourself. Obviously, our field is forever changing, and we're going to have to continue to learn. That's why we have CEUs. That's why we have continued education credits and units, and that's why we're always going to have to take all of these tests and go to all of these conferences and all of these seminars. But never stop learning about yourself. Never stop learning about your stressors. Never stop learning about your wants. Never stop learning about your needs and your coping skills and things of those sorts. Because the more you learn about yourself, the better practitioner you are going to be. The better clinician you are going to be. The better therapist you are going to be. The more you know about yourself, the better you will be able to assist with someone else. Right? I know this is kind of sounding like a don't burn out type of show for the therapist, but it is true, right? A lot of the times, us as therapists, we don't have many people that come to us and ask us about certain things. We don't have, other people asking you like, yo, I know you had a difficult client. How was that client? Especially if you got your license and you're done with supervision. You don't have people coming to ask you like, yo, I know you just had a difficult client, or how is your caseload, or how are you doing taking on all of this work and things of those sorts. We don't have people looking out for you as a therapist because you take everything in. You don't have people, social workers that work in hospice care and they deal with death all the time, or social workers that work in a hospital and they see death and they got to deal with crying families and all of this stuff. You don't have people who go to the social workers who work in these psych hospitals and every time they walk in there, they could possibly get punched in their face by a guy for no apparent reason, and because they work in a psych hospital, they can't sue the guy and they can't get nothing off of him. All they gonna get is some raggedy workers comp, and they gonna tell you to hurry your ass back to work because you should be at work. We don't have people checking up on social workers and people like that, right? So be mindful that you're checking up on yourself. Be mindful that you're taking care of yourself, because if you ain't taking care of yourself, you damn sure not gonna be able to take care of anyone else, right? So the question that I have for you all, for a lot of the therapists, is just how often are you taking care of yourself, right? Is it every day? Are you checking out every single time that you come with a new client? For me, every time I switch between jobs, or every time I switch between clients, I have to leave, go somewhere, and just kind of woosah. I have to give myself back together. I have to eat lunch outside in my car. I have to get away from that client. I have to just kind of debrief with myself real quick. Because if I don't do that, then I'm just going to be constantly and go, and then I'm not going to be able to, assist the client to the best that I can, So those are just some of the things that I wanted to make sure that us as therapists are absolutely doing, right? Because we have to take care of ourselves. If we're not taking care of ourselves, then who will? Because ain't nobody asking about you. Like I said, especially if you're licensed, especially if you're done with your supervision, especially if you are a senior within this field, within your particular practice. Ain't nobody asking how you doing. Ain't nobody asking how you doing. So it's on you to make sure you take care of yourself. All right? So all those folks that are listening and tuning in, good looking. And as always understand, ain't no wealth without your mental health. So please stay blessed and take care of yourself. Be great, y'all. Peace.